The Hyperkin Retron 3 HD, a 3-in-1 system that plays Super Nintendo, Genesis, and NES. Great little system, great concept, but does this system have a major SNES flaw? Let's find out on this episode of We Test. Guys, welcome back to another episode of We Test. Before we get to the topic of today, I'd like to say don't forget to let me spend my money so you don't waste yours by hitting that subscribe button. And if you're interested in keeping informed of new videos being uploaded on the We Deem channel, don't forget to click the bell. The topic of today, the Retron 3 HD. I've done an unboxing and a review on this console, and if you'd like to see those, don't forget to check the cards at the top of the screen and in the description. And the reason we're revisiting this thing is because a user on, I believe, the review said that he was having issues with the SNES card. After about a half an hour, I guess it would cut off or just stop playing. I don't know, maybe it was freezing. So I've decided that I'm gonna definitely make a video on this. I'm gonna test it and see if this is an issue, and if it is, it's definitely worth picking up if it's gonna cut out after a half an hour. Either way, I decided to test 3 different SNES games, and that was Nightmare Busters, which is in the system right now, Donkey Kong 3, and Mortal Kombat. Now these 2 are original carts. This one obviously is a repro from China. I bought it off AliExpress, and now I just realized that the glue here is disgusting. They did a horrible job, but everybody expected that. Although if you do look at the cart, obviously these don't look the same. Although these don't look the same, although the font does. They still went with the Nintendo logo on it, so they were trying to really pass this thing off as not a repro. But besides testing these 3 different games, I also decided, why not, let's go ahead and test some Genesis game. This is Cave Story, and as you will see, stay tuned towards the end of the video when I test these 2. This is a repro from AliExpress too, and as much as I really enjoyed the fact that I had this game on a Genesis cart and was able to play it on the Sega Genesis, it seems like there is definitely an issue and it is unplayable. Now I don't know if that's just because of the Hyperkin 3 HD, so there will be a future video testing this on obviously the original Genesis and the Mega SG. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing that, but you can check out what's going on with that on the Hyperkin 3 HD later on in this video. And we also have Darkwing Duck for the Super Famicom. Once again, another repro from AliExpress. I just was really fond of the Famicom cart in orange, so I went ahead and picked that up. It's been in a couple of other videos, which of course I'll leave cards at the top of the screen. I did end up using this and the adapter on that Moga clone console, the top loader. This is not going to be long. I'm not going to drag this on. I'm going to try to cut down. Obviously, I'm not going to show you a half an hour gameplay of all these games. No more babbling. Let's get in the game. I did test a half an hour of each game. Now I'm not going to go ahead and show you all in a half an hour because obviously that's probably going to be really boring and it's going to take forever to edit. But I will let some of the game play in different sections after I'm done babbling. The first game was Nightmare Busters. The game played perfectly well. The only thing I did realize after recording is the audio was off. Now, I don't know if that's because of the reproduction cart and how the Hyperkin sent the signal through my capture device, but it did not sound like that on the TV during gameplay. Either way, it played, it didn't cut out after a half an hour. It was working perfectly fine. The next game I tested was Mortal Kombat, and that game seemed to function well too. There was no cutout after half an hour. It was still running perfectly fine. I just realized that I really suck at Mortal Kombat. It's been a long time since I played the originals, and I just kept dying.
Jack wins. Jax wins. Finish him. Superb.
Next game was Donkey Kong Country 2, and that game also seemed to play fine. Audio was good, everything was good. It played for a half an hour. There was no issues whatsoever. Did not short out, did not cut out at all. Alright, next game, just for sake of testing, as I said, Super Nintendo worked perfectly fine, but I thought maybe my console might have an issue with Sega Genesis or NES. So I tested a repro cart of Cave Story, and honestly, I don't know if I got to a half an hour with this game because unfortunately there's something wrong with it. As I said in the beginning of the video, I was going to tell you about it. Once I got the map for the level, the game just kept flickering the map on, and no matter where I would move, the map would come up, and I couldn't do anything else. It just kept popping up. Now, as I said, I'm probably going to test this on the original Genesis and the Mega SG just to see if it happens, because it was kind of cool to have Cave Story on a Genesis cart. But as far as now, it doesn't seem like the repro is working. Alright, next game and last game that I tested was Darkwing Duck for the Famicom. This was a repro, but it seemed to be a US version of the game on a Famicom cart, and I put it in the Hyperkin NES adapter, which I'll leave a link in the description down below. Everything in the video will be linked down below, and that ran for a half an hour with no issue as well. What's the end result? All three games for the Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong 3, Nightmare Busters, and Mortal Kombat 2 played flawlessly. I didn't see any issues. Now, one issue I did notice with this, and it wasn't something that you've seen while playing it, was when I recorded this on my AverMedia game capture device, the audio was completely off. It did not sound that way while playing it, but while recording it, it was. And I don't know if that's just the repro and how it acts through the Retron HD and through the HDMI wire into the capture device. The audio somehow at some point gets messed up. But the games played flawlessly. I didn't have it cut out at all. I don't know if maybe this is an issue. I've already talked to the Commodore issue with his system alone. He's talked to Hyperkin and he's waiting for the end result. And as far as Genesis Cave Story and this My Arcade adapter with the Famicom cart, no issues there either. The game's played without cutting out or anything. As you've seen with this Cave Story, once you got the map, it just kept bringing the map up. Any button you press, the map would come up. If you didn't even press anything after a certain amount of time, the map would come up. It became unplayable, which is pretty upsetting because I like having Cave Story on this Genesis cart. Now that obviously is an issue with whoever ported this to the Genesis, because obviously Cave Story did not come out on the Genesis originally. I want to test this out on the Mega SG, as I said, and also the original Sega Genesis, and see if that issue is happening with those as well, because I really would like to play the game on Genesis. I don't know why, it's on so many different platforms, but just like having it on a physical cart for the Genesis. So that will be a feature video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see that tested. Either way, I didn't see any issues with mine. Now granted, I haven't used this as much as maybe that user has used it. I mean, I've played it a fair amount of times, but I haven't played it as much as I played it now, trying to test this issue or this apparent issue out. So maybe over time that will become an issue. Maybe something with the Super Nintendo cart slot, the soldering comes loose or something. The contacts maybe get messed up. I don't know. I will continue to play this and see if I do experience that issue, and I will let you know. So don't forget to follow me on Twitter at We Deem Channel, or Instagram. I might throw it up on there as well, and that is at We Deem Channel as well. If you have any questions on the Retron 3 HD, or your experience the same issue or similar or other issues, please let us know in the comments down below. As far as I'm concerned, in the time that I've played this, it's a pretty decent system, and it's definitely going to get some use in the future, whether it be recording videos, streaming, whatever. I'm gonna probably use this to capture game footage for Sega Genesis, NES, and Super Nintendo. If you liked what was contained in this video, don't forget to hit thumbs up. If you thought this was a waste of time and just sucked, you could always hit that thumbs down. If you found the video to be of some sort of value, don't forget to share amongst friends and the rest of your social media. And as always, don't forget to let me spend my money so you don't waste yours by hitting that subscribe button.